So in this class, our primary tool will be a tool called PyCharm, and you can use Python Sandbox for some of the early stuff. If you've got maybe a computer problem or you have lack of access to a computer and you're trying to wait for your financial aid check so that you can buy a computer. I mean, I get that stuff all the time. Python Sandbox is a web-based Python interpreter that will run your Python code on a web page. So you don't have to install anything. The downside to Python Sandbox is that it is very limited in terms of what you can do. And what you'll find is that we get further into the class, there'll be certain assignments that just won't work on Python Sandbox. So that's the thing. You do want to get PyCharm installed on your computer. Yes, you can use your computer here in this class. In fact, if you have a laptop, I encourage you to bring it because it allows you to do the work on the same computer wherever you're at. Otherwise, you're doing work here on this computer. Then you got to figure out how to email your code to your home computer, or figure out how to transport on a thumb drive or whatever. It just kind of gets messy. It's simpler. If you have a laptop, just bring it in. If you don't, that's fine. You do need access to a Windows computer or a Macintosh computer for any homework that you might do in this class or working outside of here. The computers at the BC Panorama campus have PyCharm installed. Obviously, the labs here do. The tricky thing, I think, here at BC Southwest is getting access to a lab where you can just use those. But I highly recommend, if you're interested in coding, if you're majoring in computer science or you're interested in that, getting a computer. Windows or Apple does not matter. I use Apple, but PyCharm runs on both of those platforms. Will not run on a Chromebook. I do believe it will run on Linux, although if you're running on a Linux computer, you can probably use another programming environment and be fine, because Linux has a sort of a learning threshold that makes sure that if you're doing it, you at least know how to do some things. So installing Python and PyCharm, just really quickly. I'm not going to install these for you on my computer because they're already installed, but I will show you a couple of things. And there are instructions on the website as well about how to do this, or on the Canvas site. But what I will say is the first thing you want to do is install Python, and then you want to install PyCharm. Python is the programming interpreter that runs your code. PyCharm is the environment you use to do the programming. So you need both. Sometimes your computer will have Python installed on it. I recommend installing the newest version of Python anyway, just to make sure you're running the latest version that understands all the things we need it to. So if you go to python.org, okay, should look like this. You go to downloads, and if you just hover over downloads here, you'll see it's going to guess what kind of computer you have based on your operating system. And usually you can just click this button to download the newest version for your operating system. You're going to download it. It'll download a file to your desktop or wherever you save it. You'll run that file and it'll install Python. Shouldn't be too difficult. But there are also lots of videos. And in fact, I have a video, I'll attach it to Canvas so you can see it, that walks you through the process of downloading and installing that. The next thing you need to do is go to the JetBrains website. JetBrains is the company that creates PyCharm, and they create several other what are called IDEs. Integrated Development Environment is what IDE stands for. And PyCharm comes in two flavors. You can download either of them and be okay in this class. However, the professional version, yes. If you want me to help you with any issues that come up as a result of your IDE, then yes. But if you're confident and you want to use Visual Studio Code or whatever, that's cool. That's fine. I just can't support you, and you won't have access to the debugging tools when I go over that unit in the class. But with that understanding, yes. So PyCharm comes in two flavors, the professional version and the community edition. The community edition is just free for anyone to use. It has all of the necessary things that you'll want to use in this class. The professional edition has more stuff that you might want to use as you get more advanced. you have access to a free license for the professional edition as students. All you have to do is register your student account. And there's a link from, let's see, where is that link? Module 1 here. And right here, number 4, under important first module task, create a JetBrains education account. Okay, so free educational licenses. You go to this page, you click I'm a student, you give it your BC email address, and you create a password and that sort of thing. Then you can download PyCharm Professional, and when you run it the first time, it'll say you need to activate this license. You log in with the account that you created, and it will give you a free 1-year license to use PyCharm, which you can renew as long as you have a educational email address. So it's really cool. These guys are really awesome to do that. And that's one of the reasons I use their stuff, because I think good behavior like that should be rewarded. We want to support students. Now, if you're like, nah, I just want to do this sort of the easy way and not really worry about the license or whatever, you can use the community edition. And you would go to the download page, you scroll down here, community edition. All you do with the community edition is download it and install it. You don't have to have a JetBrains license or do any of that other stuff. And it works just fine for this class. As you become more advanced, you might be like, well, I kind of want the professional edition. As long as you have an email address, you can always go back and switch over to the professional edition. So it's not really a big deal, whichever one you want. But first install Python, then install PyCharm on top of that. You'll have fewer issues if you do that. Now, all of that's already done on these computers in this lab. So if you're working on one of these computers in the lab, Community Edition is already installed and ready to go on these. Just note that any computer in this class, every time you turn it off, gets wiped clean. So if you save your code on there thinking, I'll come back next time, I'll sit in the same seat and I'll pick up where I left off, it's going to be gone. So you need, anytime you write code on one of these computers to save it, you need to like email it to yourself or upload it somewhere or do something with it. Because if you leave it on these computers, it's going to be wiped. So that's the deal there. So that's installing PyCharm, Python and PyCharm.